about the Craigslist killer's panty proclivity? Or how about the brilliance of Barack Obama in his foreign affairs? No, I tell you what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the biggest story of the day. And the biggest story of the day is that computer spies have breached our #1 fighter jet project, the F-22. They have hacked into Defense Department computers. They have stolen data on the F-35 Lightning II fighter, not the F-22. And this airplane, which was supposed to be our next wave, is probably not going to happen. Now, some say that the attacks originated in China. That's pretty clear that it probably would have originated in China. You wouldn't expect them to say they didn't. But if you read into this article any further, they say that the hackers may have come from Turkey. Now you say, Turkey? What the heck does Turkey have to do with us building a fighter jet? When you see old Georgie Bush, the good rock-rib Republican free marketeer that he was, he outsourced some of the building of this jet to his Islamic buddies in Turkey because they're our ally. He said that they're moderate Muslims and they deserve to have the right to build components to our jet fighters. Now, I want to remind you that a couple of years ago, the very same George Bush tried to sell America down the drain with the Dubai port steal. Do you remember that? You remember the outcry that originated here on the Savage Nation when I used common sense and logic and said if we're going to turn our port security over to Arabs in Dubai, it is highly likely that some of those secrets that are used in our port security would leak to folks not friendly to America. And in fact, outright enemies of America might take jobs with the Dubai Ports Company to either bring things in a Trojan horse manner, or God knows what they would do to us. And you wrote emails and you stopped it, okay? Now, the same logic should have held when George Bush outsourced component production on the F-35 to people in Turkey. But it didn't. It didn't. And I'm trying to tell you, thanks to the alert members of the Savage Nation, the Dubai Ports deal was defeated. But now it looks like the Chinese have snuck a Trojan horse through our computer security system, or the Turks did it. How did they manage to do it? Well, if the information from the Wall Street Journal this week is correct, and Turkey now makes many of the components for the F-22 fighter, it seems likely that the Muslim Trojan horse, which was stopped during the Dubai port scandal, has now found a way to penetrate our systems through the auspices of our good allies in Turkey. We tried to find out which components of the F-35 were manufactured in Turkey. We hit a stone wall. My producers called the Wall Street Journal writers. They did a great job. They don't know. He called people at the Washington Times. They don't know. Nobody knows which company outsourced the components to Turkey. Now, I want to go back to something that occurred in World War II, and it was fiction. In the 1940s, the great playwright Arthur Miller wrote a play called All My Sons. And this play depicted a corrupt war profiteer who knew he had manufactured a set of faulty aircraft parts, but sent them to the Air Force to be put in airplanes anyway. He wanted the profit. And as a result, the airplanes crashed, killing the pilots, American pilots. But truth is stranger than fiction, because in the story, the corrupt war profiteer gets his just desserts. But in this case, we don't think anybody's ever going to be punished. We've gotten compromised security. We have a fighter jet that the Chinese can take out at any time because of their intimate knowledge of it. We get a bill for a $3 or $4 trillion bailout, and we get to watch our president taking his shoes off in a mosque in Turkey. What I'd like to do for you is put this in context. I'd like to play a few clips from the Lux radio production of All My Sons, from 1950. Now remember what it's about. It's about a war profiteer who makes parts for airplanes that he knows are defective. Listen to clip 1.
About the cylinders, Mr. Deaver. Have you looked at them?
Why should I look at them? It's Joe's department.
Well, I thought you should know, too. They're defective.
Defective?
I'll have to reject the whole batch of them.
But you can't reject them. They've got to be shipped out on Monday morning.
The government told me I got to inspect them, Mr. Deaver. You know that. Well, they're no good.
All right, next.
That's right, Herb. The cylinders came out bad. Sometimes that happens. They come out bad.
Can't they be fixed? How can we...
Fixed? You mean we start from scratch on that order? By the time we do that, we're out of business.
We shouldn't have got into this, Joe. We're way over our heads. We're not big enough. We had no right to accept those contracts.
I don't remember you saying anything when I got those contracts. You looked at the profits at the bottom of the page and you thought they were plenty big enough?
You said we could handle it. I relied on you.
We can handle it. So what do you want to do, Herb? Not ship them? Have them cancel us out, put us out of business? Either we take the chance or we're through.
It's a crime to ship those cylinders out of here. You must feel
It's only a crime if you get caught. So ship them out of here, Herb. I say the cylinders are okay. Ship them out.
Now, hold on. Hold on. He says it's a crime to ship the cylinders that are defective. Now, remember what this is. This is about a manufacturer who's making cylinders for an airplane. The cylinders are defective. His machinist tells him don't ship them. The owner says it's only a crime if you get caught. Listen to clip 3 again.
it's a crime to ship those cylinders out of here. You must feel
It's only a crime if you get caught. So ship them out of here, Herb. I say the cylinders are okay. Ship them out.
Now, how many Bushites shipped out faulty cylinders to the Air Force? Well, I don't think they did it on purpose. After all, these are good WASPs. They're good men. They're good Anglo-Saxon Protestant American. They're good white men with blue eyes, blonde hair. They probably went to Yale with George Bush. Some probably a member of the Skull and Bone Society. And they just wanted to make a good profit so they could take their limo rides into Washington and New York City and give money to the arts, get young wives and whatever. They didn't mean to outsource components of the F-35 to Turkey in order to hurt us. And although it happened, well, it doesn't really matter because they won't get caught. And the reason they won't get caught is pretty obvious, isn't it? Now, in the fictional version of All My Sons, what actually happens is it's parachutes that the manufacturer makes that are defective. And his own son is enlisted in the Air Force. His own son bails out of a plane. His own son dies because his defective parachute doesn't work. And then he is confronted at the end by the character as played by Burt Lancaster, who's playing, I believe, one of his other sons. Listen to clip 5.
What kind of a man are you anyway? Kids hanging in the air by those cylinders, and you knew it. Oh, I was so proud of you. You were helping us to win, and you were worried about your business. Don't you have a country? Don't you think about people? Don't you live in the world? Haven't you got a heart? Oh, what must I do to you? What must I do to you?
Don't you have a country? Don't you have a heart? So you see, things change, and they don't really change. We'd like to say to Nancy Pelosi, we'd like to say to Barack Obama, we'd like to say to George Bush, we'd like to say, don't you have a country? Don't you have a heart? But we can't say any of those things. We can't say it to anybody. And so, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to talk about the Craigslist killer and his panties. I'll be right back.
AM 560.